Tonight, an American Airlines flight from JFK to Delhi forced to divert fighter jets escorting it to Rome. Officials tell ABC News there was a bomb threat, and the future of millions of federal workers is in limbo amid mixed messages from Elon Musk and the White House. First, the scare in the skies, Italian fighter planes following a passenger jet with 214 people on board. Officials say a security threat forced the plane to reverse course. The view from inside one of those fighters. The aircraft landing safely, passengers and crew taken off the plane for authorities to perform a complete sweep. The details just coming in. The chaos and confusion over Elon Musk's social media ultimatum, telling more than 2 million federal workers to explain their recent accomplishments at work or face termination, with a deadline of tomorrow at midnight. Dozens of government agencies, including the State Department and FBI, are telling their employees not to respond. Those workers now caught in the middle, not knowing what happens next. Selena Wang reports from the White House. New details in the deadly shooting at a hospital ICU in Pennsylvania, a gunman taking staff hostage with patients nearby, and the growing memorial for the officer who died a hero. Our team is in York County. Nearly 3 years after the Russian invasion, pressure mounts on Ukrainian President Zelenskyy to strike a deal to end the war. What he tells our Ian panel he's willing to give up for peace. The update on the condition of Pope Francis, what doctors are now saying more than a week after he was admitted to a Rome hospital. The urgent search for more victims in a deadly romance scam. The FBI alleges the suspect stole hundreds of thousands from unsuspecting people she met online. The nail-biting move just in the nick of time that prevented a crash on the train tracks. And America Strong tonight. How the kindness of strangers led to one magical moment on the mound for a special fan.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this busy Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. There are several developing stories as we come on the air, but we do begin with yet another harrowing ordeal in the sky. An American Airlines flight diverted to Rome after a security threat. The video tells the story. 2 Italian fighter jets escorting the plane with 199 passengers and 15 crew members on board. It was not until later that authorities determined that the threat received in an email was not credible. This was the view of those fighter jets from inside the plane. The flight, which was heading to New Delhi, India, from New York's JFK airport, ultimately landed safely in Rome. Authorities say it was inspected and cleared to depart again for Delhi. ABC's Morgan Norwood leads us off tonight from JFK Airport.
Tonight, this American Airlines plane escorted by Italian Air Force fighter jets, landing in Rome after being diverted due to a security threat. American Airlines Flight 292 departed New York's JFK Airport Saturday night with 199 passengers and 15 crew on board, headed for New Delhi, India, abruptly turning around over the Caspian Sea and flying to Rome, where American has a base of operations.
The captain came on and said that there was a diversion due to a security issue. There was no other clarification or details given at that time.
A senior official telling ABC News the flight was diverted due to a bomb threat received over email, though the threat was deemed to be non-credible. Indian officials insisting the aircraft be inspected prior to its landing. Video from inside capturing those Italian jets trailing the American flight. That plane touching down in Rome, passengers bussed to the terminal for screening as authorities conducted a security sweep of the aircraft.
Everything was surprisingly calm. Like, in your mind, trying to play out scenarios like that, you think people were in a panic, but it wasn't the case at all.
In a statement, Americans saying the flight was diverted due to a possible security concern, adding safety and security are our top priorities, and we apologize to our customers for the inconvenience.
And late today, American Airlines giving an update on that flight, saying it will remain in Rome overnight to allow the crew time to rest before taking off for New Delhi tomorrow. Lindsay?
A lot of high anxiety in the skies lately, Morgan. Thank you. Now to Elon Musk's new attempt to slash the federal government. Federal workers were told to list their accomplishments or face termination. But some unions and agencies, including the new FBI director, Kash Patel, have told workers to pause on the order. And late word tonight that the Trump administration is firing 2,000 USAID workers and placing thousands of others on leave. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump's cabinet defying Elon Musk's order to federal workers, telling their agency employees to hold off on responding to an email from the Office of Personnel Management asking for 5 bullet points detailing their previous week's accomplishments. The pushback coming after Musk posted an ultimatum on social media demanding federal workers justify their jobs before midnight Monday or face termination. Musk writing on X, failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. But several agencies telling workers to wait. Newly installed FBI Director Kash Patel ordering his workforce to pause any responses. Senior leaders at the State Department saying no employee is obligated to report their activities outside of their department chain of command. And tonight, the Department of Defense telling employees that the department will respond on their behalf when and if required. Acting U.S. Attorney in D.C. Ed Martin was one of the few senior officials to encourage his employees to comply, calling it a good opportunity to highlight the importance of our work. The largest federal workers union calling the email unlawful and an attempt to bully hardworking Americans. Sources tell ABC that even though Trump publicly urged Musk to get more aggressive on Saturday, top White House officials were caught off guard, the White House refusing to comment publicly. Even some Republican lawmakers questioning Musk's tactics.
If I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives.
And Lindsay, more breaking news tonight. USAID says it's firing 2,000 workers and putting all but a few remaining staffers on leave around the world. This comes after President Trump and Elon Musk have vowed to dismantle the agency that provides humanitarian aid around the world. They claim it's wasteful. Lindsay? Selena Wang from the White House. Thanks so much. Next tonight, the new details in that deadly hostage situation at a hospital in Pennsylvania. West York Borough police officer Andrew Duarte was killed in a shootout with the suspect. 3 hospital workers and 2 police officers were also injured. Authorities say the suspect, armed with zip ties and a handgun, targeted the hospital's ICU. Late word tonight about the motive. ABC's Christian Cordero is at the scene.
Tonight, the flag is half-staff with candles and flowers flooding the entrance of a police department in West York, Pennsylvania, honoring 30-year-old officer Andrew Duarte, shot and killed in the line of duty Saturday after authorities say a gunman targeted the ICU of UPMC Memorial Hospital, carrying a semi-automatic handgun and zip ties, taking staff members hostage before getting into a firefight with law enforcement.
To be advised, we have 2 officers hit by gunfire.
Multiple officers and 3 hospital personnel injured, the suspect killed. That chilling scene unfolding with patients nearby.
It did happen in an area where individuals were being treated.
The borough manager today telling us this small community and its department of a dozen officers are in shock.
The community loved him. He certainly had a dedication to keeping every single person here safe. And for that, we will always hold him in our hearts very deeply.
You were saying he chose this community specifically.
He did. He moved here from out west. He believed in this department, and we were very grateful to have him here. Time was too short.
Lindsay, a senior official, tells ABC News the shooter appears to have targeted that ICU in anger, saying the suspect was upset over a perceived lack of care for a family member who died in the ICU within the past week. Lindsay.
Christian, thank you. Overseas now to the latest about Pope Francis. The 88-year-old pontiff is conscious and receiving oxygen after a respiratory crisis, but remains in critical condition. Prayers for Francis are coming in from around the world, some leaving tributes outside his hospital. Let's bring in ABC's Marcus Moore reporting live for us from the Vatican. Marcus, tell us the latest with regard to concern about his kidney.
Well, Lindsay, the new update from the Vatican says that Pope Francis remains in critical condition, but also that he's showing signs of a decrease in kidney function. But they add that it's mild and is under control. The Vatican also says he's continues to need extensive oxygen treatment, but he has not had a prolonged asthma attack like the one they reported yesterday. Now, in a sign of good news, the Pope attended Mass this morning at Gemelli Hospital. The Vatican says members of his medical staff joined him, and the 88-year-old pontiff has been in the hospital now for 10 days. And Lindsay, in a written greeting today, he thanks people around the world for their prayers.
Those prayers continue, Marcus. Thank you. Now to the war in Ukraine. Tomorrow is the third anniversary of Russia's invasion. Overnight, Russia launched a record number of drones, more than 270 against Ukraine. It comes as a major shift in U.S. policy is unfolding and what President Zelenskyy says he's willing to give up for peace or NATO membership. Our chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell reports tonight from Ukraine.
Tonight, Russia launching its biggest ever drone strike on Ukraine, the capital city of Kyiv under attack, anti-aircraft fire lighting up the night sky. Ukraine has weathered assaults like these every single day for almost 3 years. But now President Zelenskyy under political attack too, engaged in a bitter war of words with President Trump, who called him a dictator for not holding elections.
You're under pressure from Moscow to step aside and Washington to hold elections. Would you be willing to give up the presidency if it meant peace for Ukraine?
The Ukrainian leader telling me he's ready to resign if it means peace, and he offered to stand down if it meant membership of NATO, saying, "I'll do it immediately," without a long conversation about it. With Ukrainian intelligence saying Russia may declare victory on the third anniversary of their large-scale invasion into Ukraine Monday, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth pushing back.
Vladimir Putin can attempt to take all the victory laps he wants. The reality is the president is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's stopping the killing and the destruction across Ukraine and ensuring an enduring peace.
But Democratic Senator Jack Reed speaking to Martha Raddatz, condemning what he calls President Trump's alignment with Russia.
This is just someone who admires Putin, does not believe in the struggle of the Ukrainians, and is committed to cozying up to an autocrat.
It comes as the White House presses Zelenskyy to accept a deal that would require Ukraine to give billions back to the U.S. for the military aid already sent to Ukraine. Today, Zelenskyy insisting the money was a grant, not a loan, but that he's ready to work with America on joint investments.
Lindsay, tomorrow French President Macron meets with President Trump, and then the following day the British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer also at the White House. These next few days could be critical in deciding what kind of deal, if any, is possible. Lindsay?
Ian, thanks so much. Those crucial talks in Washington could potentially involve Germany's new leader. Germans headed to the polls today in a high-stakes election for a new chancellor. Let's bring in ABC's Inez de la Cuatara. And Inez, this was a huge win for the conservative movement, which could certainly have a ripple effect across Europe.
That's right, Lindsay. Exit polls show the Conservatives leading with 29% of the vote. The far-right AfD party, meanwhile, coming in second with a record 20%, the most votes for a far-right party in Germany since World War II. This was the party that Elon Musk and Vice President Vance had signaled support for. President Trump today saying it's a great day for Germany. This election coming at a pivotal time for Europe and NATO. Friedrich Merz, the conservative leader, is now poised to become Germany's next chancellor. He is pro-Ukraine, pro-NATO, and has been critical of President Trump's outreach to Russia. This evening, he said this administration mostly doesn't care about the fate of Europe. Lindsay?
Inez, thank you. Now to a stunning development in the Middle East. Israel has deployed tanks to the northern portion of the West Bank for the first time in more than 20 years. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the intensive operation after several bus explosions near Tel Aviv on Thursday. This also comes as the fragile ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas hangs on by a thread. Now to a Las Vegas woman charged with what's being called a deadly romance scam. Aurora Phelps is now being held in Mexico. Investigators allege that she targeted older men she met through online dating. The FBI is now urging possible victims to come forward. Here's ABC's Zareen Shah.
Tonight, the FBI urgently trying to identify additional victims they believe this Las Vegas woman may have targeted in a series of romantic scams.
This is a romance scam on steroids. We have not seen one like this in recent history.
43-year-old Aurora Phelps now in custody in Mexico. U.S. authorities accusing her of luring older men she met through online dating services, drugging them, and stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from them.
Once she incapacitated her victims, Phelps stole their cars, accessed their bank and brokerage accounts to withdraw cash, used their credit cards to make a variety of purchases.
The 21-count indictment alleging Phelps sold one victim's Apple stock worth approximately $3.3 million and unsuccessfully attempted to remove the $3.3 million from his E-Trade account.
We believe Phelps kidnapped one of these victims by heavily sedating him and pushing him across the U.S.-Mexico border in a wheelchair due to his inebriated state. Phelps then took him to a hotel room in Mexico City, where the victim was found dead a few hours later.
The FBI says 2 other victims were found dead shortly after their alleged encounters with her. Phelps faces charges including bank fraud, identity theft, and kidnapping charges related to death. If convicted, she could face life in prison. Lindsay?
Zareen, thank you. The measles outbreak in West Texas is getting worse, with more than 90 cases, and many of the infected are unvaccinated children. The epicenter of the outbreak is in Gaines County, Texas. Here's ABC's Mikaela Villarreal.
Tonight in Texas, the worst outbreak of measles to hit the state in more than 30 years is getting worse. The Texas Department of Health now reporting 90 cases in West Texas alone. That's 32 more cases since Tuesday. 16 patients had to be hospitalized. Nearly all of those infected, children. And in almost every case, the patient was unvaccinated.
When you layer a very infectious virus in close quarters with many kids that are unvaccinated, that is a recipe for a disaster.
Daycare centers where some are too young to be vaccinated, on alert for fevers and rashes.
Newborn babies, they don't receive the vaccine until they're 1 year old.
And children can't get the second dose to be fully vaccinated until they are 4. Texas requires vaccinations but allows for parental and religious exemptions.
Maria, thank you. Now to a deadly series of avalanches in the West. 8 deaths reported this month. Colorado hit with more than 200 avalanches over the past week. The state is now taking steps to keep snowboarders and skiers safe. More now from ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
In Colorado, authorities conducting controlled avalanches to try to stabilize the snowpack, as more than 200 avalanches occurred across the state in the past week. This comes as we learn one avalanche claimed the life of a snowboarder west of Denver yesterday. Across the Western U.S., 8 people in all killed this month alone, more than a dozen since December. And caught on body camera, this extraordinary rescue of a snowmobiler buried alive by an avalanche in Summit County, Colorado last Monday. Rescuers frantically digging for the victim, who had been trapped for more than an hour. Avalanche experts say someone buried is unlikely to survive after 15 minutes, but miraculously,
Just uncovered him. He is breathing.
The man was conscious, speaking with rescuers, and transported to the hospital. Lindsay, an avalanche advisory remains in effect in parts of Colorado. Meanwhile, in the Northwest, an atmospheric river has prompted avalanche warnings from Montana all the way to Washington State. Lindsay.
Jacqueline, thank you. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. What skier Mikaela Shiffrin did today that no one has done before. The last-minute move that came just in the nick of time, a car stuck on the train tracks. A dramatic close call on the track. Surveillance images show a car getting stuck at a railroad crossing in Poland. Another driver rushes in to help, attaching a rope to the stuck vehicle. Just as the signal lights warn of an oncoming train, the rope works. The stuck car moves off the tracks. You see it there just seconds before that train arrived. When we come back, more history from Mikaela Shiffrin. To the Index now, American skier Mikaela Shiffrin has cemented her place in the history books. Today in Italy, she took home her 100th World Cup Series win. She's already the most decorated alpine skier of all time and considered one of the greatest athletes ever. Her latest achievement comes only 4 months after she suffered a serious injury in competition. When we come back, America Strong, the first pitch and what it meant to a young girl and her family. Finally tonight, America Strong, the little leaguers, the little girl, and the lesson for us all.
An extraordinary act of kindness recently played out in an Arizona park. While 6-year-old Olivia's older brother was at Little League practice, her mother saw her approach 3 players from another team. When the boys included her in their circle without hesitation, her mother, Mandy Mulligan, took out her phone to capture the special moment.
They started probably a 10-minute long ring around the rosies session with her, and every time they would clap for her and tell her good job and high-five her.
Olivia was born with Down syndrome and is mostly nonverbal.
They weren't afraid of different, and they just put down any need to be cool and just played with her.
Those boys later shared their reaction.
She might not be able to talk or maybe not even play sometimes with us, but
I think the way that makes her special is that she's just a great person inside. We all love her. She has like the biggest smile ever. She was like really easy to be nice to and friendly.
After the Queen Creek Little League heard about Olivia, they invited her to throw out the first pitch at Friday's opening night game. A home run of a different kind.
Not afraid of different. I'm Lindsay Davis. Have a great night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.